Alright, now let us build our very own first MCP server. I'm going to build an MCP server for my file system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an MCP server which can have access to the file system. So there are basically some tools in that particular MCP servers which can basically create or delete or read files from the file system, also can create or read or delete folders from the file system. So once I build the MCP server, I'm going to access those tools from again cursor. So I have a prompt with me. I'm going to use the Claude for that, for my all my coding related stuff. So I'm going to put the prompt over here. So the prompt is basically I wanted to build an MCP server which can have access to my file system folders and should write content into a file, delete a file or read a file, similarly to folders. So I wanted to have the code related to MCP in Python, and I wanted to have the project structure given by the Claude in step-by-step manner. So I'm just going to ask it for that. So yeah, now it is actually going to give me the code for my MCP server. So here you can see the code is already being built on the right side. So I'm going to wait for it to complete. Alright, now it is giving me the dependencies that I need to install. For example, in this file it is giving me the requirement.txt file in which I think there will be some dependencies which I need to install. Also now it has provided me with the project structure, and it has given me the key features of this particular MCP server. So it can read file, write a file, delete file, list directory, create directory, delete directory, move file, file info. So what it had done is it has actually restricted the operations to this particular MCP workspace directory only. So I can actually create files or delete files or create directories in this particular MCP workspace directory. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code into my current folder which is opened in cursor. So first, now let's open our cursor. I have this file open, so I'm just going to close that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this particular project structure to my MCP, and I'm going to ask it to create this project structure. Can you create the project structure? So I just have asked for it to create that project structure. So let us wait till it do whatever we have asked for. Alright, finally it has just done with the creation of the project structure for my MCP server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this, and here you can see there's files that are created by the AI agent. So I have server.py, I have requirement.txt, I have readme.md. I don't know why it has given me this particular code in this, but I wanted it to create an empty file, but I think I have already done it earlier to check. So I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete this file, and I'm going to create an empty server.py file, because I don't know, there are some contents in that file. So what I'm going to do is server.py, and I'm going to move this inside this MCP file system server. So now once I have these files, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all the code that is provided by Claude to us. So going back to the Claude, here you can see the first part which has given by Claude to us is basically the main server code. So this actually goes into the server.py. So here also you can see main server MCP code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code and go back to the server.py, and I'm going to put all the code over here. So now I have pasted all the code over here in the server.py. After that, what I'm going to do is I am going to the requirements.txt, and I'm going to copy this. Again, I'm going to put that in the requirements.txt. Yeah, now it is done. What we have to do is now we have to actually start this MCP server. So it is basically asking us to create a directory, but I'm not going to do that because I'm already in the directory. So you can see I'm inside the MCP server, but there's one more folder called MCP file system server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cd into that MCP file system server. So I'm currently in my working folder, which is MCP file system server. After that, I'm going to initiate an environment. So basically I have to do this first to initiate the environment, Python environment. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So it will basically create a Python environment for us. So now the environment creation is done. We are going to go into that, but we are going to activate that environment by this. So now here you can see we ran into an error where the source is not recognized. I think it's a bash command, but we are on PowerShell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Claude that this fails maybe because you thought I am running this in Linux, but give me equivalent Windows PowerShell command for this. Again, we have asked Claude for that, so it is going to give me actually that PowerShell command. So we have created that, so we are going to activate by using this particular activate.ps1 script we have. So going back, pasting it, yeah, now we can see that the environment is now activated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going back to my steps again. So now we are going to install the requirements that are given in the requirements.txt file. So basically we're going to pip install our requirements.txt. So copying this, pasting over here. So it is basically going to install these dependencies that we have, MCP and AO files. So these are kind of required for the server.py file to run. So we are going to install them over here. They are currently getting installed. I think it is taking some time to install them, but they're going to get installed. So yeah, now all the required dependencies are installed for this project, the MCP and the AIO files. So now what we are going to do is we are going to run this server.py file. So again, we are going over here. We are just do this. Okay, I think I have pasted it twice, so let me just paste it once. I think now the server is running, so I think it is working. The MCP server is working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these integrations. It has given the integration to the Claude desktop, but the client that I'm using is Cursor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this. However, it should work with the Cursor as well. So just going back again, and I'm going to open that Cursor's JSON configuration file, which should be in users, yeah, in here, yeah. Now, right, I'm going to open this with the cursor again. Now here you can see I already have the MCP configured for my Notion, but I would just like to paste my server's MCP configuration. So here it has just basically provided the server part to the server.py file. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to close this file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check if this particular MCP server has access from the cursor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to going over here, manage tools, and here you can see there's error in the output. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close once my cursor, come back, open it again. We see if I can now have access to the tools provided by the file system MCP server. It is loading the tools. It still shows me the error. What it says, handling the system cannot find the path specified. Oh, I think correct. I just have to go back to the configuration file, open with cursor. I think the path that we have given, it is not yet modified. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the path to our server.py file. So let's see here. I can reveal in file explorer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the path of this, and here I'm going to paste the path. Okay, so just delete this, go back, delete this as well, maybe change these to backward slashes. Now let's see what happens. Close this. So it is unable to find the bin as well. So let us just go back to the Claude again. Let's just take this, just put in over here. Let's see what it says. Path to execute is incorrect. Let me see the okay. Now let's just run this. Let's see what path it gives to us. Go back to cursor, go back to terminal, paste this, wait, copy again, paste. Let's see. So the Python executable files is over here. Open the configuration again, and with cursor, let's give it over here the command. Okay, let me write it manually. See, I think this. Now let's see. I'll go back here, manage tools. Now you can see basically 8 tools are enabled. So there were some hiccups because I just have copy pasted whatever given by the Claude over here, but I think that was given to us assuming the operating system that we have is Linux, but we have Windows. So now the MCP server is up, and it is running. And we also have the tools provided by the file system. So read file, write file, delete file, list directory, create directory, delete directory, move file, file info. So basically these are some of the things which Claude has promised to us. So go over here. Yeah, you can see over here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to create a file and write some content to it. So let's see. Create a file called new.txt in the folder new folder and write content like this is a new text file. So let's see what it does. So now here you can see it already has recognized this particular file system MCP server. So it is asking me to give access to that. So I'm going to give access. So run. Again, let's say run. Run. It is kind of giving errors, running into errors, because I think it was not able to find that particular folder. I think it had now created in the users folder, MCP workspace, new folder it has created. Then again now, yeah. Now let's just go back in the files and let's see what it done for us. So I'm going to the users folder, and here you can see I should have the, yeah, I have the MCP workspace. So in the prompt I had asked it to create a new folder. So basically as we have discussed initially, is going to create folders in this particular workspace. It has created a new folder, it has created file, and the file contents are just magic. This is a new text file. So that's how powerful MCPs are. If you use them in your applications, you will be blown away. So yeah, that's all in this video. Thank you.